John Mellencamp is an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He is a man who worked under several different names. So he started in the mid '70s, first as Johnny Cougar, and then moved on to John Cougar. The reason for Johnny Cougar is because his manager was convinced that the name Mellencamp was not sellable. I think his success shows that his manager wasn't necessarily right. Maybe he did need to establish himself first. He's gone through several names though. So after some success as Johnny Cougar and John Cougar in the early '80s, he started to use John Cougar Mellencamp, and then in the '90s he dropped Cougar and became John Mellencamp. He's had a steady career with 25 albums so far. Hi, my name is Dan, and this is a review of the Lonesome Jubilee by John Mellencamp. Actually, this was credited on the pressings as Mellencamp, just to add confusion to the name changes that he's had over the years. This was his ninth studio album, and it's my first time listening to it. I didn't know any of the tracks on this album. I would describe this as being Heartland rock, as other people have done so, but it's got a twist, and it's a good twist, which is that he's gone to folk or more traditional instruments here in quite a big way. So he's got accordion, violin, and occasional other stuff like hammered dulcimer, banjo, dobro, which is a resophonic kind of guitar, whistle, mandolin, and other things as well, alongside the fairly normal guitar, bass, drums, and occasional keyboard stuff. Having got that instrumentation in, it's not folk or country. It's definitely rock, and I think the label Heartland Rock is a really good label for this. I think in comparison with other people, I mean, I feel like the kind of home of Heartland Rock is Bruce Springsteen. And it's got a very similar feel, kind of musically, to it in terms of pace and so it's mid-pace generally and not too heavy, and fairly straightforward musically. But then this other instrumentation comes in with a lot of the filling in is using these instruments, especially the accordion and the fiddle. So where you kind of fill in with guitar chords or keyboard or both, it's using the accordion and the fiddle playing off each other quite a lot in here. Right. The other reason for it to be Heartland Rock is because the content is about Heartlandy stuff, which is, in my mind, takes the form of modern folk tales about people, blue collar generally. So again, like Bruce Springsteen, and if there's one song out there in the universe that exemplifies that, it's "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi. It's just about ordinary people's lives and stuff that's going on. Um, you've seen the score. I really enjoyed this. And that is pretty much down to the music and the production. Um, so I feel like it's a good meeting of several things that have gone together to just make this a sweet spot for me musically. So here are the things that I I really liked about it. So first of all, the pacing. It's kind of like a fast walking pacing. Most of the songs are about the same speed, I would say. And sometimes that doesn't work in an album. On this occasion, I felt it did because it just felt like the songs had that kind of groove to them. The instrumentation is unusual and it's done really well, which gives it a great feel to it. Often up for this kind of instrumentation. I'm a great fan of these traditional instruments. It gives it. I want to reference Dexys Midnight Runners, who in Britain a bit earlier than this did a bit more of that. They had more of a folk feel to their stuff, but this is so this is not folk, as I've said before, but it has that instrumentation, which is great. The rhythm section here, particularly, I want to talk about the bass and the drums here, are so good. It's not kind of flashy and overstated, but it's just the kind of the bedrock of what they put down is so solid, but it's got a great feel to it. And I would say that the band are the real star here. So often when you get an album that's billed to one person, then there can be a variety of different people involved in playing, and there are here, but there the core band seem to be, if I've worked this out right, a band that he's worked with over the years and have worked together and are a coherent unit, and that really works on this album because they're playing off each other. They understand the space they've got around each other. And it just makes a great feel. Some bits of bass work on here that just, yes, that's really nice. So I play a bit of bass myself, so I kind of, my feel for bass is, I probably pay more attention than some other people do, let's put it that way. Um, I'm also going to just mention the snare sound. It's got a snappy, buckety, crisp snare sound in most of the tracks here. Great choice for this music. It just gives it that real backbone of feel to it. Finally, and not kind of by any means least, is the backing female singing, which is gospel-like. I did look up her name, but I can't remember it on the fly as I'm recording this. And it adds that last layer of sugar. There's just great backing vocal stuff. And with interplay between her and John at times, it just adds to that overall feel. So Heartland rock, but with a kind of almost New Orleans feel, especially because of the strength of the accordion here. Then with a bit of this kind of bluesy gospel background stuff, feel like we've got something that's putting several things, different things together, but is a combination that works really well, and then is just executed excellently, to my mind. So I absolutely loved this album, as you can tell from the score and the fact that I'm raving about it. I don't think there was anything on here that I would say, but it's just a really strong album. And I'm glad that I found it. I wish I found it 30 years ago because I would have played this to death. And hopefully, in between all my listening that I do for these reviews, I will find time to listen to this album again because it's just a great album. However, I'd love to know what you think of this album. I don't actually know a lot about John Mellencamp and how he's regarded in the kind of international community of music listeners, which is you people are. So let me know about what you think about John and what you think about this album by leaving me a comment. And that's it from me for now.
One man does his work, is not satisfied, not at all. Feels like